Is it okay now? Okay. So just Nito, you could help us confirm if you can hear us perfectly now. And greetings to you. Thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. So, as usual, we would like to hear from our panel before we dive into our conversation. The ambassador, what's up?
Same. My hustle. It has been raining crazy these last few days. We felt like August moved into September or something like that. I don't know if it's a global warming, but it was just really, I had a whole basketball day and other entertainment related things to do on Saturday, but it was impossible. The rain just didn't stop. Yeah, but now, Monday has been slow. You know how Monday is this boya. So, but I've just been indoors doing my thing online, yeah.
Okay. Delby, over to you.
What the fuck? My day since Saturday has just been messed up. I don't want to use the F word here because I'm checking at TV. I don't want to. Yeah, it has been messed up. Like, I've been trying to deal with some guys who feel like, let's just say, there's a mindset, okay? Let me just say, because it's mostly common among white guys. So there is a mindset among them that there are some blacks that fit a certain statue. Like when they see you, they just believe you were meant to spend money or meant to give them money, or just mean they just create they don't make the scenario easy for you to accumulate wealth or accumulate money. But when you fit a certain criteria, they just believe these are the kind of guys who spend so much money, and they try to extort or try to. I've been dealing with some guys who have been trying to, let's just say, extort. But when you think about the who those kind of things happen to is mostly blacks, and mostly when they're in certain environments. When they get into certain environments, those guys treat them as if, these are the dumb guys who came here to spend, or their money isn't meant to be spent or to be kept. Like they just need to spend it or collect it. They need to collect it. We just need to collect it. But as time has gone on and as things have proven, they've tried to make structures in place which has made it difficult for those guys who they see like cash cows to actually make money or generate wealth or actually save or accumulate wealth or even own property, certain things. So at times I just sit and think maybe this thing is the fault of most of these like rappers and most rich Africans who come abroad. Like the perception they've given these big businesses, or most white guys or most owners of establishments or people who are in place to make certain things, it has made in such a way that when you fit like a certain profile and they see you like, okay, you're in this space, you're in this milieu, you look a certain way, you're one of those guys who spend money that way. So they try to do everything to make it feel, they try to extort you in a sense, So I just blame rappers and, let's just say, mostly rich Nigerians or even some Cameroonians do. Like the way we spend money, you cannot see white guys spend money that way, and it is on us, like rich Africans and rappers. They buy too many chains. When Africans want to do wedding abroad, you see the thing is so explosive, or even barbecue, or just small gathering. Like when Cameroonians or Africans want to do certain events, it's so explosive, and it gives these guys some mentality, these guys certain mindset that these guys are just too dumb. So every time they have money, we just need to collect it. So I've been dealing with such guys since Saturday. I've been in a scenario where I clearly see these guys trying to extort me, and they think I'm dumb enough just to give them the money, and they try to make it feel like I have to do it, or I'm in a position where I need to do it, So it has been messing. I've just been agitated the whole weekend till today.
Asha, that sounds complex.
Yeah, venting.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive into our topic, right? Let's talk about artists. Should artists have side hustle? We know in our entertainment industry, I don't know if it's a publicly known fact, but I know it's a known fact in the entertainment milieu that a lot of artists don't make their money from their art. A lot of them have their one or two things that they do on the side in order to make a living. But then you have these artists who sign to record labels, and then the expectation from these record labels, the expectation they have of these record labels is that you are going to feed me, you're going to clothe me, you're going to take care of my every need.
Because of
and
what
then
they see
even
abroad from record labels like Atlantic.
Exactly, yeah. So this is Maxo Official. Actually, he is due to his caption that we decided to talk about this. So he's basically saying that before you get into the music industry, so this is somebody who is in the music industry saying, before you get into the music industry, it's important you find something to eat first, or else you're going to accept things which you should probably not be accepting. And I know some time ago, I think it was last year, we're talking about these very record labels, artists getting very bad deals, and we're saying a lot of artists get these deals because of desperation, because they feel like they have no way out. They feel like, just give me the 1 million or give me whatever I need it because I've not eaten today, and then you make very bad decisions. But then on the other hand, having a side hustle might make you focus less on your career, hence your productivity or the quality of the content you produce might not be at 100%. So what do you guys think? What is the better route to go? If you have to advise a young artist getting into the game, would you tell them have a side hustle and then you just do music as a hobby, or do music and then see how it goes?
The ambassador, you can start, or should I?
Okay. So as I always said, I feel like the experience I had with entertainment started in Europe, then I came back to Cameroon. I used to dance and do things, rap and the rest, but I did not know what was really happening in entertainment till I went out of Cameroon. So coming back to Cameroon, it was a shocker. But what I would say is there's no one answer to this. Everybody should just, based on your situation, can you draw your own game plan? So for some artists, if your father is Bia, that's just an expression, or it's a photo, you can take that risk of saying that, okay, I have enough runway. Yeah?
Like Davido and his family. Like, he had
exactly, yes. So if your father is that rich, you can take that runway of, I'm going to run it by myself and then get there. But if not, especially in Cameroon, where the structures are not really in place for you to jump into the system and start making money from the get-go, then I feel like if you assess it and you cannot make money in less than a year, it might be a good idea for you to get a side hustle. Because out there in Europe, it's even better where you have structures, because it's not like it's the labels that give you that money.
Yeah.
The labels can give you the money because they can make the money, because the structures are there to permit them, to guide them to make the money. Structures and policies. But in Cameroon, we don't have that. No matter what any label should tell you, we don't have the structures and policies to guide you to make that money. So unless you are already making money before you get into this deal, if not, then you are in for a long walk. And I feel like you should just have some level of guarantee, because I tell people, like, in the capitalist world, we are governed by the law of demand and supply. And to push your demand, you need to play along with scarcity. But you cannot play along with scarcity if you are reasoning from a place of necessity. So if you cannot provide your basic needs, that's what I call necessity, then you really cannot play with scarcity, and then you cannot play with demand and supply to work on your favor. So you always be at the losing end in that game of demand and supply if you are thinking from a place of necessity.
Okay, so before Delibi shares his opinion, let's see what the comments are saying. So Neto is saying, sorry, Uncle Delibi, I won't be for long. That I know they. Let me drop my opinion before I leave. Okay, so Neto, please feel free to drop your opinion before you leave us. Yeah, okay. So Delibi, over to you.
On this topic, this is something most guys especially Cameroonians, because this topic, even Western artists, like most rappers in the USA, most of them had jobs in McDonald's or Popeyes, or most of these Burger Kings, or they work as janitors in some places while they were trying to work on their music. But the image Cameroonians have, like, it comes from that fantasizing aspect and inferiority aspect, that we only see the finished product and try to emulate it. We don't even know about the process or the things that went behind the growth and the process to the guys who got to that position. So I would advise that they get a job. But if you tell a Cameroon artist to get a job, even if they have a job, they would behave as if they don't have a job. Like they'll behave like the music is their everything. I can't The countless amount of artists that I've talked to on this platform and talked to based on, and it you always hear, always ask that question: is music a hobby, your main career, or your side hustle? I always ask them that question because I know why I'm asking all those questions. And their replies always make me feel like these guys are too proud to say it in public, or they are too proud to say it on air, or they are too proud to say it online. Like I can ask them, is the music lucrative? This is the question I always ask. Is music actually lucrative now for you in Cameroon? They'll dance around that answer, dance around the answer. And then when I ask, do you have a job? They'll say, you see, man, it is so. Man, did music number all now, like they always dance around that thing. So what I'll advise these guys is you should get a job, okay? Don't be ashamed of having a job, because for some most of these guys, music sometimes costs money to make, even if you don't have the equipment or production or all these things. You need finance to do it, you know. So bragging online, like 98% of Cameroon artists don't make money from music. 98%. Just 2% may be making money from music. 98% don't. So most of these guys watching us right now, I know most of you watching us right now, you may not be making money from music, but you give just from your profile and everything you do, you give that perception that you make money from music, which you should, I don't know, you should figure your shit out, okay? Try to build your shit up, okay? And when it gets to that point, everybody will say, you will not even need to justify that you're making money from music, because the work will show. When you make the money from the music, everybody will be a witness or observe the growth. When you get to a point in your career where you actually make money from music, it's visible, you know. But sometimes when you're living a kind of lifestyle that cannot reflect the result of your work, that way it questions your revenue. It questions your revenue. And that's why most of this time I even get guys complaining about police harassing them, because sometimes the source of the wealth is not reasonable. Like, it's not like you say it's an artist. Okay, show me one of your songs. Your song has just 1K views. Okay, just 1K views gave you that money. Said no, this and that. Even though the 1K views can actually give you a reasonable amount of money if it goes for raw sales. 1,000 raw sales in Cameroon is so much money if you think about it that way. But most of these guys go for views on YouTube. So out of all this rambling, I know I'm just venting now, adding the stress I have upon the stress I've had with interviews I've had and what I see online. And the topic is a real thing. It's real. Like, that's why I'm talking the way I'm talking, because most guys see this kind of topic like degrading, or an artist or a superstar having a job as degrading. Everybody starts from somewhere. So I would say you guys, they should get a job. It's a must that they should get a job when they start.
Yeah, as you were talking, I just thought about two scenarios. The first one was doing an interview on Canal D. An artist, I innocently asked an artist, like, so do you do something on the side? Like, at that point in time, I didn't know that this was a taboo topic. Don't talk about this. Don't even go that direction. And he turned and looked at my co-host very uncomfortably. And my co-host like, no, don't talk about that. Yeah, she just tapped me. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just immediately realized that, okay, this is taboo. We don't talk about this. And then we moved on and just went to lighter topics and let that slide. And the next thing was when I think Askia's lookalike was doing some call boxing in Douala. And then it was all over the internet where like fans are heartbroken to see their favorite female MC now doing call box, blah, 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 all kind of things. Yeah. So I think it's both from the side of the artists themselves feeling like, okay, this is not my brand, it will not be good for my brand. And also from the side of the pressure from the fans who feel like, okay, you're an artist, you should be too big to do this kind of things. Because now I'm just thinking about myself walking into, I don't know, let me say walking into an Express Union and the cashier there is it Blanche Bailey? I'm just trying to think of anybody. Is Blanche Bailey sitting there? She's the cashier. How am I going to feel about that? If I'm being totally honest here, I'm going to feel some type of way about it. I'm going to feel like, oh, Blanche Bailey, you're the cashier now. It's going to make me feel some type of way. I'm being very honest and transparent. Yeah, why?
Because the way the fans act the way they act is because of the perception these guys have been portraying online, and that's the perception they've had, that being an artist or a celebrity, all these things are taboos or is degrading. Because they tried, like I said, they try to copy the finished product of other countries without actually going through the process of getting to that finished product. So they portray the finished product when in reality they are not that. That's why even when they go for interview, they try to prevent you asking if they have another jobs or side also, because it's like a taboo. It's degrading. It degrades you. It doesn't make you feel like or look like a star. When actually there are processes to being a star or process. Yeah.
I feel like it's a problem though. I mean, as an ordinary fan, it's an issue if you are an Express Exchange too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's true we want them to get a side hustle, but they should get a side hustle with a little bit of class that they can still finesse themselves, not to look like that is their, like fans like to be deceived to an extent. A lot of the things we see on Facebook.
We like living in the illusion.
So do you think...
Yes, and that's what keeps us going.
Let me give you a small example. Do you think if they see somebody like Tyrone X actually owning a shed in the market, do you think guys will complain?
Not necessarily.
Exactly.
He's not a branded artist.
Boom.
We don't count him like a successful artist
Boom.
yet. But that might also explain why he might have a concert and people don't show up like that.
Exactly. If you can easily go to Express Union and meet an artist, why would that artist have a concert and you pay money to attend? Like if they are easily accessible,
listen, this artist, Chidima in Nigeria, she's fucking rich and so famous, but she has a shop.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying, right?
Yeah, she has a shop.
It's not like she's selling from the shop, like buy this shirt, that kind of vibe.
But
I remember when I went to Nigeria, I went to Jos and I saw Ice Prince had like a small club. These other guys, the P-Square guys have like a bakery thing. But they're not the ones.
No. I mean, Chidima had a shop where she was present there. She's always there, like just sitting like the madam and their girls selling there.
She's always there, but I don't think she'll be the sales girl though.
No, because I'm just saying, because at that point in her career, she's above being the sales girl, but she's still available and she has the business. What I'm saying is, these guys try to mask that hustle as if they are invisible and they just need to see them when they are showing up for shows or being publicly available for certain things.
Not yet, but I feel like, okay, as you said, right? So you can have a shop. And then, okay, there are two things I wanted to go at. One is what exactly you do, the kind of business you do, and then how you go about it. So like I'll give an example. I remember 2012, when I just came back, I think I was driving, we had a show at the sports complex in Moliko, and I was driving in, like if you know the complex, you are driving in, there's a slope. So I was driving up that slope so you can actually see from the side and you can see the road, the main road. And I actually saw the artists were coming to watch, drop off a cab. And I was like, wait. So I'm driving here to come actually pay to go watch a guy who is just if he's going off the car, he's coming from a cab, and then it's not like even a crowd is rushing towards him. There is no agitation like this is the star guy. Then definitely I will not expect much of the crowd going into that show. Because I tell people, like, if you've ever been to a show, there's a certain ambience of the guy even gets on stage. It's already some part of the entertainment. That's what will stop me from playing his song or watching it on YouTube. There's that extra entertainment of seeing him live, the crowd going wild, he doing some kind of playback to the song. So that whole vibe of he's a star. If this guy is just coming from a cab and then the crowd is not even reacting, that already tells me, like, there will not be much of a frenzy in there.
It means
because he's a star. That's one aspect of it.
Before we continue, let me just read the comments so that we make it interactive.
Interactive.
So Neto is saying, I personally think music in Cameroon doesn't pay unless you reach a certain level. Very few do reach there. So getting a side job is very important, no matter what your talent. Then he goes on to say, I'm a young music producer and I won't produce a track for Abeg, even if I'm still an amateur producer. So before you grow as an artist, you need money. Then we have Skizzy Eyenkia saying, now the thing is, being an artist is already a job. If we ask an artist to get a job, then we are saying the art ain't worth it. So it is better.
That is the pride side of it. That is what I'm talking about.
No, I don't feel like it's a pride side, but I feel like it's not realistic to our context.
But what I was saying is we expect our artists to be producing as much as Nigerian artists, and we say our Cameroonian artists are not pumping enough into the market. But then if they are not supposed to be focusing on their art, they're supposed to be hustling on the side, then we also know that they will not have enough time to put that all night, all day in the studio to produce the quality of content we want to see from them.
It's one time in life we all need to be realistic. Okay, I get his point and I get the question he asked. That question, in a sense, that mindset comes from the pride side of it, like the image you're trying to portray. That you're an artist, which is a job, and how would it sound like when you say you have another job on the side?
But there are many other elements to that question, though. So I feel like, okay, one, it might be that, or I don't really think it's the pride side. I feel like I was saying, when I say this is a job, you have to be giving in your best, at least an 8 hour to this thing. Yep. And you're expecting that it's going to give in. I always tell people, like, first you give in the work, then you expect the return. So if I don't give in a good return, a good work, I don't put in good work, how do I expect a good return? So that in that poverty cycle of always getting mediocre or not enough return because I don't put in enough work, and then it goes that way. But on the other hand, what I was saying was to be realistic. If you recall the last conversation we had here where I asked the DB, like, how much can you guarantee to generate for an artist in a month? I was so adamant on that statement of a month because there's a bare minimum which, if you cannot make, survival becomes a problem. As soon as you go across that line, you cannot afford the luxury of putting as much time as you want into the art, dedicating even more, focusing on your creativity all into it. But if you cannot afford your basic necessity of feeding and shelter and clothing, it's a problem. It's not realistic to say that you cannot afford these three things. As soon as you can go across this line, now even the Two-Face has 1 million, the Lil Wayne has 1 billion, all of you can dedicate similar amount of time to that process because all of you can feed, can have shelter, can clothe yourself.
So
I'm talking about it's necessary to get a job for those who cannot go above the basic necessity line. If your family can guarantee it, your inheritance can guarantee it, then good and fine.
And
you can do that. If not, side hustle is the outlet.
There's one thing too, in Cameroon, that there's a part where you say your inheritance or your family can assist. In Cameroon, being something other than making money from your education is considered a taboo in Cameroon when it comes to the family and the era before us. You should know that as a fact.
Taboo is a strong word.
No, but still, right?
I will explain.
an artist, at times even being an artist is a taboo. So you're already on the taboo list
Listen,
because we're just right on the
in
taboo.
in Cameroon, being a footballer, a musician, a model, an actor, an actress, anything that didn't come through the route of educating yourself, going to the university, making a CV, applying for a job, or writing a concours, or getting a matricle. Okay, keyword matricle. Okay, in Cameroon, no, get my point. Let me learn. In Cameroon, okay,
Yes.
even if you have a family that has that amount of wealth or that kind of wealth, if you need to invest it in your career, your music career, the aid is not direct. The aid may be your finessing the wage you make, or the wage or the support you get for personal something to back up your music career. Okay, in Cameroon, that's how it is. But in other countries, that one can be a factor. Like your family can assist you because they believe in talents and all the rest. In Africa or Cameroon, they debunk all those things unless they can start appreciating it when they see financial input or they see revenue coming in. Then your family will just say, "It make money," and then they will accept it. Okay, but from the get go, if you tell your parents you want to start doing music, god damn, you're fucked. Okay.
Yeah, but I think there are some people that you can come from a family that even if the parents disagree, they don't still want to see their child sleeping on the streets. So you still have a home and you probably still have food.
That's why I say
and
you
probably
finesse
have an
the
extra
support
car
you
to
have
drive.
already.
Yeah.
You finesse that support you have already to back your career or back your passion or back whatever you're chasing.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
understand?
Okay. Let me read some more comments. So we asked Skizzy Yankasi saying, again, every other sector in the entertainment industry thinks the artists should get a side hustle to get cash and come pay for their services. Okay, so like bloggers will say, artists get side hustle and come and pay me to post your blog.
Listen, in the entertainment industry, every domain, before that art, before that platform, before that business, before that talent, before that aspect of your life you're working on, you consider your main target, before that aspect of your life start generating revenue, you need a side hustle. You need a source of revenue first. Okay? You need
No, but I don't know if you are getting his point though.
No, his point is that artists are seen like the guys who need, because they have the product to promote the merchandise and all these things, they need to bring in money to promote it.
Somehow, a lot of these other entertainment things, especially in Cameroon, they thrive off the artist's art, right?
The reason it goes, and what he has said goes back to the point.
Yeah.
It goes back to my point where I said, where I stated, it is the impression they have built the industry under, the facade they have built the industry under. They know these artists are not making money, but they charge these artists for this thing. They know their platforms are not making money, but based on the facade and the knowledge and the image they want to build on the industry, everybody needs to act like a professional. When the revenue,
it's about being a professional. It's just about being realistic and survive.
But they are not being realistic and surviving. Being realistic and surviving is you actually accepting, acknowledging the fact that we need to get a job.
No, but that's what I'm also saying, that so there's a different point which he's raising here, where he's saying that every person in the entertainment industry, it would have been good if they were telling everybody that. So if the person wants to also organize an event, they can tell him that
they tell everybody
they are not making money.
No,
so
trust me. He's an artist. He's talking from the perspective of an artist. But these bloggers do that to everybody. Yes. Show event organizers, models, designers, even guys who own shops and all these things. They do it to everybody. So you as an artist, no, you're not generating money, so they still have to treat you the same. Because based on who you are and what you're trying to portray, you're supposed to have money and be professional. Oh, what?
Yeah. If the artist doesn't package himself right,
to look like he has money, we'll say he's not branding.
He's not branding well. We'll complain about that too. I know we have even spoken about that on this platform of an artist not branding himself well. So It's like there's no win-win for this artist.
The whole thing goes back to our mentality in Cameroon. We copy from the successful guys. Like in the USA, you see the way J. Cole dress. You see Jay-Z's new look now. All these guys are rich, but they dress bummy. Like they look like bums. You see Wayne. Look at Wayne's hair. Look at all these guys. The truth is, Cameroonians, we try to copy the best aspect of those industries, negating the reality of those industries. That is why the industry just wants to be flashy and portray a certain image without actually acknowledging the fact that there are some loopholes and gaps in this industry that needs to make it whole. Like you getting a job. Like you don't need to look fly all the time. The Cameroonians just believe that for you to, like an artist, need to be that. That's what starts this whole aspect of job being problems, bloggers asking money, they complain about you branding. They cannot, if they act, because branding has to do with your personality. Branding does not mean you need to wear expensive things. And Cameroon, to me, this is what I just got from what you guys said. In Cameroon, the fans' idea of branding is you being looking flashy and expensive. True or false?
I think there's more to that.
Exactly.
Especially
But in other countries,
like
branding is not that.
Makes you look like you should be lavish.
That is their own idea of branding. So let's go to the business sense. What is branding?
No, but Deli B, you know that we are also we know like there can be billionaires who have cars and then decide to wear the same t-shirt. But we are still in a developing country where a lot of success and how can I even call it? Most positive things are attached to you having a nice house and having a car. So we are still in a country where a car looks like luxury. So it's not just the artist which is facing this problem. Every good lawyer knows that to have good clients, you need to drive a car to go to the job.
Yes.
So it's not just the artist who wants to look lavish. It's also a thing of our society as a whole. We value some of these things still as a sign of success.
Yes.
And and there's read the comments.
Okay, so Neto is saying, Skizzy, it's not like that. If we face the reality, music doesn't pay at the beginning and at the medium stage here in Cameroon. Then Skizzy's response is, August, then we should be talking about how to monetize the art. Yeah. The B is not about pride. You can get a business when you already made it. Sometimes you need the business to survive. Before you make it, you need the business on your way up.
But he said you need the business before you make when you've already made it, right?
Yeah, that you can get a business when you've already made it.
Exactly.
So,
at that point, you're investing and you're spreading your wealth. You are making sure that what gave you that money to start that business, if that stops, the business will keep giving you money.
Yeah.
So
but also on the other hand, right? I think he's not wrong by saying we need investors to solve that problem, but that's a long-term solution. I think we have spoken a couple of times here on how to get the corporate guys investing into the arts and all of that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, there is no artist who will be sick and go to the hospital, and then when they ask him to pay for drugs, he says we're waiting for investors to come. In the meantime, people need to survive and need to live. So we are making this suggestion of getting a side hustle as a short-term thing, being realistic to our society.
Then there's another thing too about this one doesn't apply just to artists, okay? It applies to Cameroonians as a whole. Our brains, let's just say the way we have been wired, okay? We are wired to think that certain things have a limit and a barrier. Not that it's limitless everything. No, I'm not talking about a cliche. I'm talking about everything has a process, steps that you need to break them into. So Cameroonians just see certain environments and certain situations and negate and hope that some solutions come to some problems if certain people come into it. They don't talk about those people who come into that situation to solve it. They have an aim, because nothing happens for nothing. They should have an aim. They should have a reason to come in there. And even if they don't come in there, okay, what do you have that you can actually, let me not say leverage, but you can actually subsidize what you're actually waiting for that big guy. You can actually subsidize it or reduce it to a certain level while trying to bring that guy in. In the nutshell, what I'm saying is most artists, photographers, businessmen, even artists like for shows, they always complain about big companies investing in their art or investing in them, or big companies need to bring money in this. If I'm a big company, why should I put money in you? Like, I don't have to do shit for you. I don't see any reason to do it. Because first of all, you haven't shown me that even if I give you 1 franc, you can multiply that 1 franc to 2 francs. Yeah, you have a name, you have a brand, you have all these things. Yeah, but what are you doing with it? If you need me to make money from the things you already have, then you're useless. Even if I pour all the money I have in this world on it, I will lose it. That's why
Yeah, but Delibi, I feel like that's a whole different debate with regards to how the artists can, how can I even call it, structure themselves or the process to get corporate money or investors into the showbiz, right?
Exactly,
But
because
as I
Cameroon,
said,
the
I feel like
mindset.
this suggestion we are proposing of getting a side hustle is more of a short-term thing to keep your head above
Body
your
and soul
neck,
together. Yeah.
body
What
and
I was
soul
answering was
together,
Kizzy
while
Aninkia's
hoping for the
question.
major breakthrough and the investor.
Yeah, what I was talking about was Aninkia's what he said about what we should be talking about is monetizing the art. You know, I was just answering that
No, that's what I
question.
was saying. That we have spoken about that too. We have spoken
Yeah.
about that, and it's not like we are refusing. That's a problem. But it's not something any of us can solve here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one of the side hustles is a short-term solution, which we're also proposing on the other hand, because when
Yeah.
it's all said and done, I always say that the best person who can implement a solution is the person who is suffering directly from the problem. The doctors, United Nations, the politician, Médecins Sans Frontières, those ones can come later when they see their interests. But you
Yeah.
who is suffering from the problem there and now is the best person who will give you a solution you really need to run with it. When it's all said and done, you are the one suffering.
Because
So
yeah,
saying that investors should come, the government has not done this, Minister of Culture has not done this. It's just animating the gallery. But when it's all said and done, what can the artist do to save himself and avoid trouble from his landlord?
yeah. So like
Right.
when Skizzy Aninkia said that, he also reminded me of one time I did a complete episode addressing Blanche concerning one thing she said: the higher you go, the more difficult it becomes for you to make money, because the guys who book you will not be able to afford your wage, so you make less money. Like, it'll be difficult for you to make money the higher you go. And I was like, what the fuck is this bitch actually saying? Like, man, there's and the thing just made it blew my
No,
mind.
but Delibi, she might have a point until you know what pushed her to say that. Well, let me line. Till you know what pushed her to say that. So it sounds like it's wrong, right? Because I feel like normally economics says the higher you go, the higher the demand, the more your value is supposed to be willing to pay.
Not necessarily that.
But I feel like in entertainment, it's a very so in the shows. I mean, like I've seen artists who I see on Boom TV, and I walk in somewhere and I see them actually drinking Gary. It's painful to see, but I imagine that it's even more painful for the person
Being on
living
Boom
that
TV
reality.
is nothing, by the way. I'm talking about, okay, let me tell you.
I'm just
Let me tell you
saying
this.
that I watching him on Boom TV, I felt
Yeah.
like he has made it.
Yeah.
But I walk into some room and I see him drinking Gary. It really it's painful to see, but I believe like it's even more painful for him living it. So we cannot act like these artists are also feeling the pain, or they are just being nonchalant about their suffering. I just feel like it's lack of an idea of how to break out of this suffering, but they really want to break out of it.
I think internet has gone off.
So what Blanche is saying actually it surely came from a place where she has experienced something and does not make sense even to her. She's just saying what she's saying. It's coming from a place of an experience.
The reason I just believe, okay, from what you just said, I believe the reason she said what she said is because she still thinks her options are limited. Because, listen, if I hear somebody like, that's why I say Mr. Leo, what Mr. Leo is doing now, though fans say that it's not reflecting on the views on YouTube, Mr. Leo is a fucking genius and master. Like, you guys, by the time he dropped his album, okay, by the time you guys will know his back end, then most guys will be like shocked. Where they'll see that the views have dropped, but the back
And he
end
has
has
dropped
increased.
something, right?
Yeah, I love that song. That's one of
Yeah.
that's
I
one of
think a
the
couple
best
of
songs
people
I've heard
said
from him
that
for a while.
that song is not meant to blow up in Cameroon. He's either hoping to get some nomination outside or to go into global or Africa level.
That's one way of looking at it. The next way of looking at it is he found out who his core audience are and he's trying to leverage them. Mr. Leo,
Wait. What do you wait? I don't understand. So who is his core audience?
he found out who his core audience are, where his bread and butter comes from, and he's trying to leverage it.
So just ask the question again, who is his core audience?
His core audience, you don't know. That's why I say he found out who his core audience are.
Yeah,
He's
but
returning.
but it's just from
It's almost like you have.
how do I call it? From basic deduction, if I just said that is maybe the music sounds like he's trying to target diaspora and some awards from out of Cameroon, and then you say he has found out his core audience. Are you saying that his core audience is diaspora and those in America and Europe, not the Cameroonian on the street?
Yeah, you caught me short before I landed. I wanted to say he found out who his core audience are. Like I said, the first way to look at it, that's another way to look at it. Like he released this song because based on these Fela Kuti, all these kind of guys who stuck to a traditional and original sound of music and made it international so they could be respected for that identity. You know, that's one way of looking at it. Or the diaspora guys who appreciate you focusing your identity. And the next one is he found out who always turn up for him. Mr. Liu stopped being a mainstream artist and tried to focus on more commercial. That's why we go to these two separate words again. That's why this word is playing into it. Mr. Liu is deviating from the mainstream or popular side, pop side, concentrating on his commercial side, because these guys, he knows who his core audience are. The guys who always turn up for him, show up for him, the guys who always run up he always know the numbers he can drop and the numbers he
That's
can
why I asked
control.
that question, Deli B. You said you had not landed. I just asked, like, who is this core audience? Who are these guys that show up for him? Break it down for us a little bit more.
Okay,
I cannot answer that question for Mr. Leo, but the move he's taking and the trajectory he's taking proves that point. Prove what I'm saying.
We're gradually going out of our focus.
Yeah.
Let's just go back to the comments again.
Yep.
So let me see. Where did I end? Okay. Your art takes more time and gives more time, and giving your best and side hustle is distraction for a creative. So saying having a side hustle is a distraction for a creative, which to an extent that's true, but being realistic, if you're not alive.
But can I ask him a question?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe what you're about to say is exactly what I wanted to ask him.
Yeah, if you don't have a place to stay,
I wanted to ask him, like, what's more distracting?
Yes.
What's more distracting? Your landlord knocking on your door or getting a side hustle?
Exactly. Yeah. So we need to always find that balance. I know a lot of times you listen to podcasts of people who are successful now, and they tell you about having side hustle, telling you that, okay, after having an 8-hour job, I had to go back home and burn the midnight
and knock out like 2 songs. Then I sleep in the morning. I go back to the studio.
Get up, go back, just like that. Dax? The cycle goes on and on. Yeah, Dax. Yeah.
Yeah, Dax actually worked at Burger King. He was actually a janitor after that. While he was still doing that, his YouTube video doing covers and rapping on Tupac songs and all these things. But now Dax is he can fill up a 3,000 venue by himself.
Yeah, many artists have that similar.
But Cameroonian artists feel like that is a taboo.
Yeah.
No, I even feel like most, as Delibi said in the beginning, that side of the story is not told. Like in the life of every successful man, the sleepless nights are never told because the press and the rest, the limelight flashes on you only when the success has come.
Yeah.
For some reason, I feel like that's why I feel like our media is also not doing the upcoming artists enough justice, because you don't expose that side.
Not that.
Just zooming on the artist's success, But just once I heard like Mr. Leo and Salatia, and it was not even on a big platform. It was some live thing somewhere where they went to detail on how Mr. Leo went to the house and collected a computer. Salatia took advance from a client to buy their first chair. I mean, like really a story which partly touched me, but partly I also respected their hustle even more.
Okay.
But most of the
But
time,
we
the
don't
media
hear
does
that
not
a
shine
lot.
any light on that. It's just on the success. Yeah.
That's why I say the media also, even the artists, like you said, the media just shine the light. The big industries, they just shine the light on when you're successful. Then when they do interviews now, they start explaining all those things. But some guys like Dax, they always document their progress. Guys like Bilo and Zias, you have so many guys. They document their success, their journey. But
No, but
let me
don't
land.
put it on the artist like you're not documenting your progress.
No,
I was
let me
talking
land.
about the media.
No, let me land. Let me land. This
Yeah.
whole thing is gearing towards the media. What I'm saying, okay? So these guys, they document
Okay.
their
Okay.
they document the progress, the process, okay? But in Cameroon, okay, even if the process is still muddy or is still not that clear, or it's still not that all that fancy, you know, what they portray to the media is okay, I'm there. An artist who hasn't had just one record, his first record is I'm big, I'm there. Even if he hasn't had anything. So the entertainment industry in Cameroon is all about when you just brand yourself an artist, you just need to start behaving like somebody who has made it. Not like they say they just shine the light on the artist when he has already blown up. No, they just negate the aspect of building you to that position where you blow up. They just negate it. And that's what creates some of those fantasies in the fans'
So
mind
David,
and
that's
all
why
these guys.
I came in at that point. I came in at that point saying that, okay, that's a point you're raising, but it's a little bit taken away from what I was saying of
Yeah.
everybody has a role to play. So when we're addressing the problem, we'll talk about the artists. At times we'll dive into the investor side of things. But I was trying to dive into the media side of things of saying, I feel like our media is limited. Everybody wants to invite them on that platform, ask them about if they're in a relationship,
Flashy
ask
questions.
them what's
Yeah.
their new project, ask them about any scandal coming up. We hear the same question on this platform. We can actually predict 50% of the questions that will be asked to every artist on every platform. Even though he's doing a media run and he has been asked the same question in 2 other platforms before this one, you're asking the same things. So I was also trying to hit on the media, saying that we don't have any core YouTube channel. Yes, these are YouTubers I'm talking to now. We don't have any YouTube channel which is specialized on before they were famous. The best we'll get is those funny pictures of look how he was looking when he was poor, look at now he's rich. Nobody puts in the work to dig in on those guys. That's something which might sound like it's something else, but also contributes to giving youths that picture of putting in the work to get to success.
Okay.
crazy you
Let
say
me
that.
answer
It's
that
crazy
question
you
where he
say
said
that
he's talking to
because
YouTubers now.
on Chakara TV,
Yeah.
we have a segment called Before the
They were
Spotlight,
famous. Yeah.
where we dive and focus on that. So it's crazy that you say that on Chakara
Okay,
TV.
no, I wanted to answer the same question. Wait, okay.
Yeah.
For the OG Molly Towns fans, okay, I had a series. It was like a documentary where I titled it The Birth of 237. Anybody who was following me before, the big channel that was taken down before I started these 2 channels, I had a segment called The Birth of 237. The first episode was Jovi, the next was Malox, like all their like where they came up, how he grew up in Mendong, all these things when they had their first songs, where they worked, like the third episode was supposed to be that of Magasco before the thing went down. The reception I got from the first, Jovi's own, in 24 hours, that episode had 40k views. The next one, the second episode was Malox. Like the thing was, and I realized that most guys want to see these things, and the way it was documented, you know, the way it was like a documentary. Like in this year he did this, from this step he did this influenced this song, and this influenced this, and he worked here, made this, his background was this.
I think the thing is that, like, for me, doing that.
The reason I stopped that part of it is because it takes so much time to produce. When I started this new platform, I did not do it again because it took so much time to produce.
You are doing such, but it's necessary though. You are doing such a huge favor There are things like there are subtle messages. We can sit and then talk as hard and as rational as we want to artists. There are subtle messages which just that documentary or that, I don't know what, that video, which will take more time than doing some gossip video, is going to do to the minds of 500 artists, and it's unconsciously or consciously fixing a lot of problems in the industry. Of course, when I was talking to YouTubers, I know that Chakara TV does that. If you notice, I said that because how many people watch on Chakara TV, how many people watch a show on Canal Do? So I was saying that those platforms I'm talking about most of the time is the people who really have the strength in the industry are those platforms on Canal D and STV. Plus, if we say, let's say Chakara TV, for example, how consistent do we go about these things? How deep do we dig into these things? I did not watch the one on Molita. I think I watched once where you were interviewing Salatiel and somebody on some football field somewhere. I think that was the same kind of direction you were going with that. Some kind of before they were famous kind of vibe. But as I said, we are talking about things we used to do. We are talking about a problem that is going on now. So by now, somebody should have done it before they were famous for, I don't know who is even on now. An Aberojes, a Tenor, a Kosi. We should be doing current people like now, those who are hot on the plate now. Yeah. So I was just saying, I know that Chakara TV has done that before. Moritan also saw something way back, but we need to be a little bit more engaged on these things and have that intention of, I'm just looking for content. I want to make young people to see that that journey is not easy.
Yeah. For me, like documenting that process, I realized that like the fans love it. But now the problem is a lot of these artists, because most of the information you get it online. A lot of Cameroonian artists, they don't have a Wikipedia page. They don't have there's no source of information that you can easily get to online. So it was a little bit challenging, and it took a lot more effort to go and dig and watch all videos and stuff like that.
But that's where the value in it comes from, doing that extra work and overcoming that challenge.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what the comments are saying. That's true, we need to, but I'm talking of a capital at the beginning. So Neto is responding to Skizzy, who was saying that artists need to focus on the creativity and the side hustle is a distraction and stuff. Then Skizzy said, what we need in Cameroon, investors who believe in art like GPS production. Okay.
Oh boy. That's in line again. Investors who believe in art. Listen, most of these guys are businessmen. The ambassador, you've invested, you believed in art and you've invested before, right? So what happened?
Very true.
So what I'm saying is,
of course I lost my money.
Boom. So what I'm saying is, artists should stop. I beg when I stop saying you want investors to invest in you because they believe in your art. Okay, Jay-Z bought Tidal when Tidal already had 50k subscribers on the platform before they worked on that 50k and took it up. Okay, 21 Savage signed his deal when he already had platinum records. There's something they call artist development. Yeah, I know that one exists. Okay, but an already established brand, not a record label, an already established brand see you as a means to sell whatever they have going on or to expand the market base of whatever they have going on. They don't see you like they want to invest in you because they believe you have to work on yourself, generate a means to sell whatever they have going on. They don't put money in you just because they like you. Okay, you know their power, and the money, they don't have so much money that they need a place to dump it. When they are investing in you, they have a vision, they have a target, they see an opportunity in you. But at times, most of those things are not realities. That's why you complain about bigger companies pumping money in you when by yourself. Okay, how much can you invest in yourself and flip it? Ask yourself that question. How much can you invest on yourself? And how long do you need to flip that money? That's what they see. That's what they think about before you even approach them to say, okay, let me put money in you. How will I get my money back?
Just to add to your point, right?
Yeah.
I will share an experience where I went and met a couple of A-list artists. I don't want to call their names, but they're like A-list top 10 of artists in Cameroon. And I told them, like, I wanted us to partner to do events. And the guys were like, they are not sure of that kind of investment. I should pay them up front before they'll do any event. And that just rang a bell in my head, like, so you don't even believe in I'm talking like A-list. You don't believe in yourself to sell the tickets, but you think that I should take my money and put.
Do you know why?
I was like,
do you know why?
Yeah, so just to add to your point.
Do you know why?
No, you might enlighten me.
The reason is because partnering in the name partnership means equal opportunity profit and equal opportunity loss. It means you guys are have the same stakes, either losing or winning. The reason they want you to pay them upfront is because they know when you pay for the shows, they don't need to put extra work to sell the show. You have to pay promoters to promote the show. You have to do the work to promote the show. They don't know how to leverage their fan base to actually create an action within their fan bases. They believe where they are at gives them that incentive that, okay, they've made it, they are famous. You can now use the funds you have to sell them. Okay? You're using your money to sell them, to use them, make money. The reason these guys, or the reason they book artists for show, is for those artists to sell the show.
They want me to play food based on their ticket.
Boom. So, even producers in Cameroon, like the guys I work with now, I have partnership. It doesn't mean I haven't talked to so many. I've talked to so many of them. Like, I get their mind state. Even artists, I get where their minds are. And then I just tell myself, even if I invest in these guys, this is a lost cause. Because I'll put in my money and I'll still be doing the work. It is a lost cause.
What's coming to my mind now is this recent boxing hype in the United States. YouTubers getting into boxing and making more money than professional boxers who have been doing it for years.
Exactly. You know why?
This is just
boxers,
and this is just due to their ability to be able to market the boxing match, right? Their ability to be able to market it.
Boxing,
you see,
the fight.
You see them creating drama around the whole event, doing crazy things, making crazy videos, calling people out, going to people's houses, doing all kind of crazy stunts just to get people excited for a knockout or for some kind of defeat or so.
That is why in those days during boxing matches, they always have this press conference, they have questioning so that these guys can talk trash to each other. That's selling a fight. You see MMA, do you know why somebody like Conor McGregor is so fucking famous and can make any amount of money? Like my favorite MMA fighter is Nate Diaz. Do you know what Nate Diaz does? Nate Diaz says his shit in such a way that any day you hear that Nate is fighting, you want to pay to see who Nate is about to fuck up. Or who will finally beat up Nate for the mouth he has been making.
Sometimes you just want somebody to beat
him up because he's so noisy on social media. Like Floyd. The reason Floyd sells a lot is because everybody wants to see the day he loses. That is the only reason why they still buy his fights, because they want to see the day he loses. But the Cameroon artists, let's flip it back to music. The reason these guys won't accept to get into those kind of deals, and even boxing, you used a good example. Boxing, these guys have a wage. That's the first step. The next step is they have pay-per-view buy. So the amount of money made from that pay-per-view, they have a percentage from it, and the network has a percentage. So they have a lot to lose if the pay-per-view doesn't sell. You understand? But in Cameroon, even concert like tours, like just say J. Cole organizes his tour or Drake organizes his tour, he has event organizers and planners. Those guys don't give him upfront money. The amount of revenue generated from that tour is, if Drake can have the highest percentage because he's the headliner, he's the person pulling the crowd, but there are event organizers who facilitate the booking of the tickets and all these things. It's a partnership. So the reason most Cameroon artists won't accept this kind of deals is because they have no fucking clue how to do these things we are talking about.
How to sell. How to sell the event.
On the other side, I don't know if we recall the backlash Enobi Michael had when he went on the Freaky Table and then made mention of that whole issue of Cameroonian artists. I feel like he had a very good point, but it's just in his presentation and maybe the whole, how can I even put it, the shade which was thrown around it, that's what pissed off artists. They had a very valid point of ticket sales. So to me,
he had a point.
I feel like, yes, he had a very valid point, but people took it the wrong
No, it
way.
was the
So
way he
much
presented the point.
negative, how can I even call it, feedback he got. That's what I'm saying. So maybe it was the way.
Yeah.
We're coming now to the point of Cameroon where we talk about ticket sales. And I recall even once in a while you tell artists like, just by, I mean, like artists in America, he knows that he puts up a t-shirt, even like the simple YouTubers we're talking about. You put up your merchandise, you can sell 100 copies. It's based on that 100 copy that you are valuing yourself. Because like when we talk about valuation in fundraising for companies, you know that, okay, based off this is what I can pull. Economically, this is what this number means. So I can get 100 people to sell my tickets. It means I'm worth 100 people buying something for 2,000 francs. Do the math, that's what you are worth.
Yeah.
Now, if I say, okay, people, let's go to this and buy this MTN thing, that's how you weigh your value in the market. It's not from the likes. It's from the conscious effort people can make to purchase things. And most Cameroonian artists, you go for events and you tell them to even share the flyer. They start feeling like they're asking too much. Not talk about trying to sell the ticket. Am I a sales girl?
Because
no, you are not a sales girl. You just want to receive salary for working at the post office.
Exactly. You just want to receive salary for making music. So you get, for example, like Justin Bieber, there was he wanted a fundraiser like for charity, okay? And guess this is what the investor said. Organize a concert. Every ticket you sell, $1 from that concert will go to charity. It means if you don't sell any ticket, you get no money for charity. You get my point? So in Cameroon, if you do a thing like that and say one ticket, if you sell one ticket, I'll just say I'll give 500 to charity. God damn. These guys, like that Michael, the point he made, he had some sense in it, but the way he presented it, it was like, the way he laid it was, there is no Cameroon artist that can sell this amount of tickets. There are actually guys who can sell it, but he should have worded it better. Like if these guys actually sell this ticket, they can actually generate revenue or actually sell this ticket. But he said these guys cannot pull this amount of numbers. That's what he said. They cannot pull those numbers, but they can actually sell those tickets.
Yeah, that's why I said it's just the wording.
Yeah. He made it feel like they cannot pull those numbers. It's completely different from pulling those numbers and selling those amount of tickets. They can pull the numbers, but can they sell those tickets to the numbers they can pull?
No, but for every businessman, the pool needs to translate to the sales, though. Because if not, the pool does not mean much. I mean, like if you make a free concert and you have 5,000 people, so you put a ticket sale for 1,000 francs and then 100 people come. Your real pool is that 100, it's not the 5,000.
It goes back to my point when I said Mr. Leo actually knows who his core audience are and he's trying to stick with them. So now you've answered that question.
I know what you were driving at, and technically I get the point, but I wanted you, or I wish that maybe a Mr. Leo can say it and then stick by your guns. What I mean by stick by your guns is you say that, okay, my core audience is this and this is what I'm going for. Or maybe
that's why I could not tell you, Mr. Leo could tell you. I couldn't.
Feeling like they are your core audience here.
I can't tell you here.
Okay.
On the other hand, I always say this too. I try to say this on every platform I go to. I say it clearly. For everybody, I mean, we should not just talk the talk, we should walk the walk.
Yeah.
Anybody who is willing to invest in entertainment, like they're asking investors, I don't want to be the sole investor. Our brother there in the comment section, if you are willing to back up anything with 6 figures, I'm willing to match the same number. By everything that you are willing to invest in your career, I'm willing to match the number and let's organize anything. Talking 6 figures upwards. Everybody, I always just say it out there. Anybody who is willing to match it, let's go.
Okay. Excuse me, I say it's like I need to join this live there. You know, we used to do that thing where we put the
we used to do it.
Zoom and then people can join. I think we'll start doing it sometime.
We'll start doing it next week. Yeah. Where we'll
Okay,
put
and
the
next
Zoom
week we
link in the
can.
comment section, the YouTube comment section, and keep posting it so they can click and join.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. If you feel inspired, you join us.
yeah,
DJ Jab says hi guys. Hi DJ Jab. He says, why did you not post the link now? I think we forgot to share it in the group
yeah. We
today.
forgot to share it in the group.
Okay. Skizzy says, I need your points about understanding our context. Okay. I understand your point about understanding our context. Now I've forgotten what the statement was about.
Me
Yeah.
too. So
I
I don't
think
get what
No,
he's
I
talking
think
about.
I made a point of like, it's about understanding the context in which you live. So it's not proper to just take the foreign context and then bring it here. So the context in which we live, it's a little bit more difficult without structure, without policy to accompany the artist. So if you understand that context, you need to get the job.
Okay. Okay. DJ Jab, I think in Cameroon, our artists should have side hustles. That's what I've been saying.
Yeah, that's what
I've
we've been
preaching.
trying to drill into their brains here and give them a reason why they need to have it. And they try to, and some of the guys in the comment section are defending why they feel like it's a taboo or it feels degrading to have a side hustle. And we are trying to tell them, hey, you need to have it.
Okay. Skizzy says, but in 2021, I think our language should change. Was nice watching. I don't go. Now go check my new release, Tanning featuring Wanshe and drop review. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
waiting for that.
And I wanted to tell the ambassador that he's an artist. He's a rapper.
Yeah. The ambassador,
Yeah, of course, I know him.
Okay.
Oh,
Then he goes on to say Paris food with several laugh emojis. I think when the ambassador was saying he wants to play Paris food with something about Paris food, I forgot or something.
On your ticket, based on your ticket. It's like you select the matches you want us to play, they want me to put my money to bet on it.
exactly.
Right. You're not willing to put down your money. Yeah. So we have passed our 1 hour mark. As usual, we have the 1 hour target. And yeah, I think this was a really engaging topic, and it was highly due to the fact that the comment was lit. A lot of opinions were shared, and we started talking of that. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Obviously, this topic is something that we could talk about for ages. There are a lot of layers to it. On the artist end, it's not just the pride that is driving an artist to say, I don't want to get a job. There are other things that might come into play. You might be thinking of branding. You might be thinking about what other artists have told you that is the way to go, and you feel like, okay, I don't want to go on this path, which might not be the way to go. Because I've actually heard of artists who have had to look for side hustles, then don't find time to concentrate on their art, so they drop off the limelight, they just drop off the whole artistic scene because they just have to focus on this career. So it's kind of it's difficult to tell somebody what is right for them to do. You as an individual, as an artist, you have to realize that, okay, do I have the money to pay rent? Am I going to sleep on the streets to have food to eat? And can I still make time for my art? Is the art important enough that I'm willing to cut back on my sleeping hours in order to hit the studio? Yeah. So, but before we go, obviously we have to have some final words from the ambassador and DDB. So, who wants to go first?
The ambassador.
Okay. So for me, back to like serious business, I feel like, as I said in my opening lines, we are in a capitalist world is ruled by demand and supply. And you cannot, to push demand and supply, you need to play with scarcity. But you cannot play with scarcity if you are coming from a point of necessity. But also, I can share it in more detail. I don't know if I'll have to write something or if people want to contact me. In my effort to study the entertainment supply chain, you realize that there are a lot of other services that can be attached to the various segments of the supply chain for those who are familiar with economics and the whole concept of supply chain. So there are a lot of services. I usually like, that's why I said the example of working at a what do they call it, exchange money place or something is not a good one for me because it may affect the brand. There are a lot of services which, like an artist, you can provide along the supply chain of entertainment, which is still tied to your whole arts thing. So like if you go from the beginning of the supply chain, maybe as a producer, you can set up a studio. You can, if you cannot do a studio, you can decide to create a fashion thing because fashion is tied to most of the things around entertainment. You can decide to set up like a nightclub, which is almost like the end of the supply chain that is airing the final product of the music thing. So there are a lot of services and products which you can provide along the supply chain, which still keeps you in the vibe of entertainment and is not going to degrade your art that much. So those are things which you can easily blend in. I mean, getting a 9-to-5 job, it's difficult to tell your producer why you have dreadlocks and you have earrings on. But if you have your shop, your nightclub, your producer place, it's easy to blend into these two lives in and out. So it was more from that perspective, which I felt like artists should get a side hustle, but not necessarily a 9-to-5. You can get a 9-to-5 if you can manage it, if you can blend the two wells. But if not, our advice at least get something along the supply chain of music, which even gives you more exposure and leverage when you want to put your music on the table.
Yeah, I was just to fill up your point, right? I was just thinking of the fact that first of all, jobs are limited in Cameroon. Then as an artist again, you have to limit the amount of jobs that you can have because you have just said some type of jobs it would not be appropriate for the artist to do. So we first have limited jobs.
No, we are not employing any dreadlocks nigga here.
Then I thought, yeah, because I know people who have had to go like to become a teacher, to do other things. I just imagine you see your teacher at
to have a 9-to-5. I had to stop putting on my earrings.
Yeah,
I'm a living example.
Right. So it's kind of, it's really tricky. As an artist, you really need to find a good way to find that balance, or else, yeah, it might be difficult for you. So Delibi, over to you.
Yeah, I have to say, even being a teacher is a great thing. If you guys have heard of D Smoke, D Smoke was a music teacher and then he became famous doing music. And, you know, if you guys have watched that show on Netflix, Rhythm and Flows, the winner of Rhythm and Flows,
No,
you haven't watched
no,
it?
but like music teacher, no, but music teacher is kind of different now because we don't have music schools here in
I'm
Cameroon.
still just
I don't
talking
know
Somehow
about this
still
thing.
along the supply chain though.
Yeah,
It's linked to it.
yeah, and
Just so you have to be a math teacher also.
yeah, but you still have students. And the next one,
Okay, sorry. Sorry, before I cut you off, I just want to say something. I just imagine that you walk into a club as a student, then you see your math teacher performing and keeping the place funky. Like, how are you going to react or interact with that man the next day?
it will make you learn that math. It will make you pass that exam. Because your teacher is cool. He's like you. He relates. You ask him how.
I'll start doubting everything he taught me. Everything he taught me is a lie.
That's the mentality with us. Do you know? Listen, do you know here?
We are in Cameroon, Delibi. We are in Cameroon.
Okay, let me land my point. What I also wanted to say is, branding doesn't mean being flashy. You guys should Google, like guys watching us, Google the meaning of branding. Branding doesn't mean you should put on fake chains or look flashy. Branding doesn't mean that. Branding starts with the first image you portray to those guys. If you start with being flashy, putting on fake chains, going to the club, drinking hookah, or they call it shisha, or throwing money or spending a lot, if that's the beginning of what you believe or most guys think is branding, that's just a simple idea of branding Cameroonians have, or the image of branding they are portraying in the Cameroon entertainment industry. Branding doesn't mean you have to spend so much money or look flashy. Branding means creating an identity that fans can identify with. But if you think the only idea of branding Cameroonian fans can accept is you being flashy or putting on all those fake chains is the ideal one for you, you're fighting a losing battle, you know. So branding, because that's what most guys and bloggers always hang behind. The artists, they don't get branding. The artists, no get branding. Branding does not mean you should look flashy. Branding means carving your identity. Sticking to it. And find guys who relate to that identity and market that identity to them. That's branding. So you guys should stop hiding behind branding and saying, if they hear say me I get side also. Now bad thing that for branding. Okay, what image did you sell to those guys in the beginning? That's where the problem starts from. That's where the problem comes from. What image were you selling, or the industry was selling, or the artist was selling, that would negate or that would hinder the next steps he has to take? Because that is your branding already being fake and flashy. So you need to keep up that light to, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I use Tyron X. Though you say if they call him for a big show, guys will not come. Trust me, he has guys who mess with him. That's why he can go the route and mess with the guys who mess with him, the core who mess with him. It may not be much, but due to his branding, he can have those guys that mess with him. So, but being a commercial artist, that's when you go to the flashy branding. It's very difficult for an artist who has a core brand and a core following, the guys who follow him because they vibe to that brand, to being a commercial artist who has gone beyond the stages of where he grew up and is now made for everybody and is selling success. Commercial artists, mainstream artists sell success. That's it. Mainstream artists sell success, but commercial artists sell a lifestyle to their brands, to their various markets. So if your lifestyle is being flashy, when you can't afford the lifestyle, that's what will keep you in that bird cage. And that's just all I have to say. That the problem starts from how you present yourself from the get-go.
Yeah, like it's feeding off your point, right? I feel like there's this vacuum in the market with because Petit Pays, although he has some songs which he drops once in a while, he's no longer present as he used to be. There's this vacuum that was created due to his absence. The everyday guy on the street,
exactly,
having a song to vibe to, the bike rider, the
Lapiro de
kind
Banga
of champion. Exactly. There's this vacuum which I
Petit
feel like
Pays said Kofi Olomide a
any-
porté tous les habits. Qu'est-ce que vous voulez que moi reporte? He will use his matanga, he will use his normal things, but
Exactly, he
sing
would
music,
dance
everybody will
shirtless
dance
and, like,
because
everybody
everyone
was
could relate to
vibing,
Petit Pays.
Yeah, and you see like I have seen a lot of Nigerian artists, even comedians, who are going that route of relating with the everyday person, even like the Nigerian.
Even if
dance
he's as
moves
famous
now.
as what or makes so much money, that's why also you stack him.
Yeah. That route, I think like I think most of our A-list artists are missing out on that. It's a very good route to go at, and yeah, I think
that's what
can
Mr.
bring a
Lou
lot
is
of
trying
that.
to do now, and most guys are seeing it as if he has fallen off.
Read the final comments before we end.
Okay, let me see.
There's some comments.
Okay, DJ Jab says, make them no hustle. Now fish that for big brother has a hustle. Are you seeing?
I trust my man Fish. He will either leave that house with 50 million or with a wife. He cannot leave empty-handed.
Strategy. Okay, Rafiki again saying next time when I drop link to join because I had a lot to share but couldn't type. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, we're going to drop the link. Maybe there's something that you still want to say about this topic. We could go back.
That's it. I just wanted to say
talk about
Cameroon artists want to market mainstream branding. They don't want to market selling a lifestyle. That's what make most artists stand the test of time and actually make money for so long. It's selling a life. It's selling a reality, a lifestyle, who you are. That's branding. That's just what I want to say. But the reason most Cameroon artists feel like is demeaning to get a job is because the idea of branding from the get-go is being rich. Even if you're
I was just thinking about the fact that I feel like the flashy, the looking good, dressing rich is the shallow part of the branding, is the surface part of the branding.
That's not even branding.
A lot of things that you agree with me